Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, this is the third lesson in the Arabic 101. Um, so far, we had a little bit of an introduction. We had some key information about the Arabic language. We had the demonstrative nouns, which is هذا هذه to the close feminine and masculine nouns, and tilka and ذلك and tilka for the far ones. We discussed last time also man and ma, which is who and what, particle of interrogation and a particle of interrogation, and how to make an answer with na'am, which is yes, and la, which is no. So if there is any question about the homework, please bring it up. If there is any difficulties you find, please bring it up. We can have a couple of minutes discussion. If not, we can start with a new lesson, inshallah. So today it's going to probably be more condensed than before. So we are going to discuss the detached pronouns, which is the he, she, it, not it, but yeah, like they, we, and I in English. We are going to discuss them in Arabic. We're going to discuss a certain note about the masculine and feminine names, people names, and we also go through the noun, verb, and particle concept of the Arabic words. We are going to go to the first uh, type of cases that we have, the different position in the sentence. The word gets different haraka at the end, or a movement at the end, or a sign. You can call it a sign. The noun sentence is called al-jumla al-ismiya, which is the first kind of the sentence, or the first type of the sentence in Arabic. Some prepositions, and called as a thing called a genitive noun. More question words: where, who, and what. Also, who and what we had before, but this is another one. We will discuss a verb called went out or went, which is kharaja and dhahaba, and a summary and the homework, inshallah. So the first thing, we're going to go through the detached pronouns. So the pronouns in Arabic, it's a little bit different. As you remember, we said two key information last time. You have to keep them in mind. We only have a masculine and feminine names or nouns. We don't have a noun that does not have a femininity or masculinity. And we have three types of nouns: singular, dual, and plural. So when I compare to the English, I will put it uh, side by side with he and she. And based on what we discussed last time, to make a feminine word from a masculine word, and this kind of transition, and you can tell if it's a feminine or masculine word, you can put it here with he and she. We will be only one, I only one, but they, because it's more than one, there is two words for it, for the masculine and two words for feminine. Also for you, two words for a masculine and two words for feminine. So that's why the set of pronouns in Arabic is a little bit different, but you can derive them from each other. So we start with I, which is ana, ana, I, ana, we, نحن, نحن, نحن. He or it, if it's a masculine noun, هو, هو, he, هو. They, it can be هما or hum. هما for two, hum for more than two, for masculine noun, or if I'm going to talk about a masculine thing. She or it, if it's a feminine, هي. So هو for masculine singular, هي for a feminine singular. هو, هي. We are going to use these mostly in this lecture, But going forward, we're going to use the rest. So it's good that you go over them now. They, if it's a feminine word, it can be two. So dual, it will be huma, and it's the same as the masculine. So if I have two dogs, I'm going to say huma. If I have two, well, I don't know, a cat, but the cat is in the feminine, it's written in a feminine way, so it will be huma also. So if I have two, I'm going to, the pronoun is going to be huma. More than two, if it's a masculine, it will be hum, but if it's the feminine, it will be hunna. Hunna. So there's a shadda here. Hunna. Hunna. Okay? You, it's anta, if it's singular. If it's a feminine, it will be anti. So it's just the haraka at the end. Anta, anti. Anta, anti. Anta, if it's a masculine thing, and anti, if it's a feminine. Antuma, if it's a dual. Antum, if it's more than two. You can see here that hum becomes huma and antum becomes antuma. So you can use that to memorize. So anta, antum, antuma, anti, also here antuma for the dual. So this is the same. If you're going to talk to it about a dual noun, if it's a feminine or masculine, it will be the same antuma, antuma. And for more than two, antunna. And you can see here hunna and antunna, and hum and antum. Hum, if it's they masculine, hum. You masculine, antum. And hunna, antunna. So this shadda will be in the they and you as feminine. This you can take your time memorizing it, but we are going to use it. You are going to use a part of it every time, so you'll eventually get to know it. But yeah, it's just this is the map. So we have to consider if we are going to talk about more than two, then we have to consider masculinity and femininity because it's going to change the pronoun. For now, the most important, I think, for these lectures is ana. Also, there is an example is nahnu, which is we, huwa, hiya, of course, and anta and anti. So you, if you're a masculine or feminine. Is there any questions here? I think this is straightforward information. Okay, moving forward. The masculine and feminine names. Now these are not nouns. These are names. A name of a person like Muhammad, Ahmed, Mahmoud, Mustafa, any name. So both masculine and feminine proper names are a definite nouns. So you have to. I think we told that when we are talking about definite and indefinite nouns. So the names are definite even if we don't have alif lam at the beginning. So we talked about this. The alif lam is the sign for definity, but it's definite by default because you talk about a person. So even if it doesn't have alif lam, it's a definite noun. So masculine and feminine are definite nouns, but masculine nouns have this tanween at the end, even if they are definite. So tariq, it will not be tariqu, it will be tariqun, hamidun, muhammadun. So it has this tanween, and you remember that we said that the alif lam and the tanween do not become in the same word. So, but this is what I'm trying to say. This is the definite noun, but it has a tanween at the end. Okay? So we don't have alif lam here. You don't say al Muhammad, al Hamid, al Tariq, or al Tariq. We don't say that. We say Tariq, and it means that it's a definite noun because it's a name of somebody, and it has a tanween at the end. So this is a special case from the indefinite. So this is the definite, and it has a tanween at the end. So Tariqun, Hamidun, Muhammadun. Now when it comes to the feminine nouns or the names, it will be also definite, but it will not have this tanween at the end. So this is the different. The names of the masculine names have tanween at the end. The feminine names, when we use it, we don't use tanween at the end. So Amina, it will not be Aminatun. It will be Aminatu, Zainabu, Fatimatu. We don't have this tanween at the end when we are dealing with a feminine name. So this is the note here. So tanween. So this is the note here. This is only one of the cases which we don't use tanween. This is one case that is the feminine name, so we don't use tanween. There, this rule is called mamnu' min as-sarf, which is a forbidden. The tanween is forbidden, and this is one case, and we have multiple cases that we have some words we don't put tanween on, but this is one case. This is what we need to know now. There are more cases, I think, in the second book, and probably in this book as well. We're going to come into another case that we don't use tanween. But this is one case. If it's a feminine name, then we don't use tanween. So, of course, examples. Uh, this is some names, and I'm going to say to use ana, the pronouns ana, which is I, anta and anti, which is you, feminine and masculine, huwa and hiya, all the pronouns that we said we are going to use in this lecture, just to refresh your memory. So ana, it's I, ana muhammadun, and this does not change whether it's masculine or feminine. So ana will be muhammadun. It will be the same with amina, but it will be aminatu. Ana aminatu. Ana aminatu. I will not say aminatun because it's a feminine name. Anti Fatimatu. Anti, you, for a feminine name. Anti Fatimatu. Anti Fatimatu. Fatimatu. We don't say tanween here. Anta Yasirun. Anta, which is you for a masculine name. Anta Yasirun. Anta Yasirun. Huwa and hiya is for a masculine and feminine singular. Huwa aliyun. Here you can see shadda. Huwa aliyun. Aliyun. So we have a tanween. Hiya ruqayyatun. Sorry. Hiya ruqayyatu. Ruqayyatu. Why? Because it's a feminine name. Hiya ruqayyatu. And if we are two people, I will say نحن صفية وعمار. صفية without tanween because it's a feminine name. عمار with a tanween. Is there a question in this information? This is the simple sort of information that we put tanween on the masculine names. We do not put tanween on the feminine names. Any questions? Okay, we go forward. Now, this is also key information in Arabic. If you want to learn the language properly, any word that's in the Arabic language can be described as three things. One of the three things. It's a noun, we call it ism. So far, all the lessons before, we only used nouns. So even it's a pronoun, or it's a noun, or it's a name, all are underneath the umbrella of noun. And the verb, if it's in the present simple, in the past tense, in the present, in the future, it's called a verb or a particle. A particle like in, on, at. So this slide is a definition of this. You don't need to memorize this. Just keep that in mind that the Arabic language has three main categories. Any word in Arabic you can find it in one of these categories. Ism, which is a word that describes a thing or a meaning in itself without being associated with a time. So I don't need to associate this word with a time to have a meaning. Like the word, the noun, the noun, the name of the person, pronouns that we discussed, adjectives, etc. So a noun that have a meaning by itself. Okay. Now, if there is another noun that has a meaning by itself, or a word that has a meaning, does not have a meaning until we have it in a certain tense or in a certain time, then it's called a verb. We have a question here. What about the nouns that are suits for both female and male? Can you give an example? I mean the tanween. If you have an example, then I can look it. I can look into it.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam.
I mean, I don't know exactly the like names from Arabic, but in my language, some there are some names that both use like boys and girls, so it doesn't have like it's
Yeah.
not a special like
Yeah, I
deity
can, I
or
can, I
not.
can have an example like the name Noor, the name Noor in Arabic, which means light. In my country, they use it for both, for male and females. So I did not come across a rule for that, but I can look it up for you. So I will look up what is the correct. Then what will be the correct? This is a good question actually. So if Noor, as an example, comes into a word a sentence, are we going to use tanween or not? This is the question, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I will look
Just
up.
just
So I
I want.
there's the possibilities are that you go back to the meaning of the word itself, so not the person. So go
Hmm.
back to the meaning and see if it's for a boy or a girl.
Mm.
Sorry, if it's a feminine or a masculine name. So Noor in Arabic is the masculine name, but like another example is like Talha. Talha. This is the a male name, but it's a
Uh,
the word itself is a feminine word. So Talha has a ta marbuta at the end, but we call there is a Sahaba called Talha. So
mhm.
here comes the confusion. So I will look into this one and come back to you, inshallah. Probably
Jazakallah.
next lesson.
Thank you.
Jazakallah.
Thank you.
So yeah, coming back to what we have here, we have three categories. We said, okay, the noun is something that has a meaning by itself. A verb is a word that describes something happening in a certain tense. Like any verb you have in English, we have also in Arabic the verbs, and different version of the verb depend on the tense that you have, or the time that you are going to do it. Is the past or the future or the present. Any verb, it's going to go into this. And a harf, which is not an ism because it means nothing without being associated with another word. So harf is a noun that has no meaning until it's associated with another word, like in, on, or this kind of um, words that have no meaning until it's associated with another word. Why are we saying this? Why are we saying this categorization? You don't have to remember this, just for your information. Um, Let me, yeah, we have to start this part. We have to first remember the question that we had at the very beginning, or the first lesson, that the brother said, okay, you say babun, kitabun, all of them with tanween dhamma. Is it going to be all the time dhamma at the end? No, we have fatha, kasra, sukun, and different sign at the end. So in Arabic language, we don't have um, the when you put a sentence in in a certain tense or a certain time, to say where is the subject and where is the object and where is this different parts of the sentence, you have to look at the final sign on the words. So each word will have an ending sign, the sign at the end of the word, and this is the way to specify the function of this noun in a sentence. And this is really important because if you flip some of these over, the sentence will have a completely different meaning, or doesn't have a meaning at all. And this is why you have to keep the haraka and the signs very, very. You have to keep an eye on that while reading Quran, because you can change one haraka at the end of a certain word, and then the meaning of the sentence completely different. So that's why it's called al-i'rab. It's called al-i'rab, and al-i'rab means putting your word or your noun into a different, into a proper tashkil at the end, or into a proper ending. That the sign at the end will be proper to its position, so that the sentence will make sense. So what we are going to discuss today is only about the singular nouns. The dual and the plural have different signs, but we are going to discuss what are the basic positions or the basic cases that you can have as a noun. So we are talking about the noun now, only the first category, right? So the noun can has three endings. A noun can have three endings. You cannot have a noun ending by sukun. So a noun can have three endings: dhamma, fatha, or kasra. If it's a dhamma in a sentence, we say it's marfu'a or nominative. Marfu'a. Always the subject of the sentence will be marfu'a. Also, we're going to go to just an example of a function in a certain sentence that is marfu'a or have a dhamma at the end, a subject. And it will be like that. Babu or babun and al-babu. Yeah, go ahead. Marfu'un. Let me put it this way. Marfu'un, yes. Or marfu'a. If you are going to stop it, marfu'a is also, did I say it wrong? Marfu'a. Yeah. So marfu'a means it has a dhamma at the end. It's called marfu'a. So I ask you, babun here, what's the i'rab? Or what? Yeah, it's a subject in a sentence. Like I say, Muhammad tawil. Muhammadun tawilun. Muhammadun is a subject. Tawil means a tall one. So Muhammadun tawilun. So Muhammad is a tall person. Muhammadun tawilun. If I have this Muhammadun, like here example, babun, then it means it's marfu'a. It means that there is a dhamma at the end. That means it's a subject of this sentence, right? This will come more clear when we go into the examples. But just to go over the another position, which is kasra. If I have a preposition like in or on in Arabic, the word after will not be marfu'a, will not be with dhamma. It will be with kasra. So after a preposition, you always have a word with kasra. So we know that this word has some effect because of the preposition. So the position of the word in a sentence will completely change once you change the final ending here. So babun and baban and babin, when we put that into a sentence, it will completely change the meaning because it means something. So if it's an object, then it will be mansub, we call it. Mansub means that there is a fatha at the end. If it's after a preposition, for example, it would have a kasra. Mansub, we will not discuss today this one because this needs to have a verb, and we only talk about nouns. So this will come after like a certain time. But for this lesson, inshallah, we're going to have these two. So we are going to have some nouns that are with dhamma, which are the same as all the nouns that we have the last two lessons. And we will have this majroor as well, which is with kasra, genitive majroor. Is it clear or not? Aman,
Yes.
did I answer your question, Aman, or not? Ah, okay, that pronunciation. Probably I did not stress on the ain. Marfu'a. Ah, okay, okay. Oh, my bad. So it's marfu'a with ain. Yeah. Uh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So just to keep to have a little bit of information here, not every noun changes at the end when the position changes in the sentence. Some nouns we call it al-bina. Some nouns have a certain sign at the end, and it's going to be like that forever. Um, there's a brother asking, Ustad, could you give us some examples from the Quran? Yeah, I can. Just one second. This is actually a good. We can switch all the examples that I give in the lessons from the Quran. But for now, let me just find you. Mm, let me go to the surah that everyone is. Mm, yeah, just one second. I will share another thing. I can share this screen. I can present. I can present the Quran. Can you see the Quran now? نعم. بارك الله فيك. Oh, this is the nice ayn here. Okay, so we have this Surah Al-Humaza. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. Now this is the first word. The first word is وَيْلٌ. Yeah? And وَيْلٌ has a tanween dhamma at the end. This is a noun. This is a noun. This is حفظكم الله. This is a place in hell. وَيْلٌ. Okay? And this one has dhamma because it's at the beginning of the sentence, because it's the subject. And if you look at the third word here, humazatin, this has kasra because it's after kul. This kul means every in Arabic, means every. And kul, when it comes to before a noun, it automatically made it majroor. Another question, is subject always at the beginning of a sentence? Yes, and we are going to go to the sentence now, and we are going to see where's the subject and where's the other things. But probably some sentence has the verb at the beginning. But uh, only the information that I need to say here is that homazatin here cannot be homazatun because it's coming after kul. So it has to be homazatin. Yeah, that's the idea that changing the sign at the ending of any noun means that the meaning is changed. And it's really important to have this in mind. We are going to go for brother who asked about the subject. We are going to go to the sentence and the types of sentence and everything, inshallah. You can still see the presentation or no? Okay, so this part, just have it in mind. We have three, if you have a noun in a sentence, we have three movements or signs that you can end it with. Dhamma, fatha, or kasra. Dhamma means it's marfu'a. We call this noun in this sentence, in this situation, marfu'a. You know why I remember this so much? Because we used to have tests that we have a complete sentence with like 5 6 words, and you have to give a reason why each one of them have this dhamma or fatha or kasra. So there are some cases, and the noun in a sentence can have one of these three cases: dhamma, fatha, or kasra. Okay. And also there is an exception for that as well, but just for now, know this information and we're going forward. I hope it will be clear. So here we are going to talk about the sentence, the construction of a noun sentence. Now we have, if you remember, we have three categories, right? We have a noun, we have a verb, and we have a particle. Okay? This is called the noun sentence, like the sentence that has noun at the beginning. This is the first kind of sentence in the Arabic language. We're going to discuss this today, inshallah. Starts with a noun. It does not have a verb. This sentence does not have any verb, does not have something happening in the past or in the future is happening right now. No, it's just a fact. And it is called the noun sentence. It consists of two main parts. So the noun sentence is complete when we have two main parts. The first part is called the subject, which is the first word, and it's mostly a definite thing that you're going to talk about. The second part is called the predicate, and it's called in Arabic a khabar. So al-jumlatul ismiyya, the noun sentence, have two parts: mubtada, subject, khabar. Okay, do I need to memorize these? No, you don't. But have it in mind, we have a subject and predicate. I am not so familiar with the English translation, so I'm just saying mubtada and khabar. So the first word is going to be mubtada. It's mostly definite word. The second word is going to be khabar, and it's mostly indefinite word. Both parts of the noun sentence are marfu'a, nominative. So if you go back just a little bit, so both parts will have dhamma. Both parts will have dhamma. Let's go to some examples. If you remember, we had this in the first lesson, but I did not go through, okay, the complete sentence. So the sentence saying, Al-qalamu maksur. Al-qalamu maksur. Al-qalamu here is the definite and it's the pen. Okay? This is the subject that I'm going to talk about in the sentence. Maksur is the khabar, the second word in the sentence, and this is a complete noun sentence, we call it. The noun sentence, al-jumlatul ismiyya, that this is the sentence that gives you full information right now. The pen is broken. There is no verb here in Arabic. We have no translation of the verb be in Arabic. We have the verb yakun, yes, but we use it in other kind of sentences. But now this sentence only names al-qalamu maksur. Al-qalamu maksurun. And if you can see here, both are marfu'a, nominative. Both have dhamma at the end. Yeah. هذا كتاب. We discussed this last time. هذا does not have any movement at the end because it's uh, we said last time it's just for pointing, right? So هذا will stay as it is. This is the mubtada now. It's also marfu', but it does not have dhamma because it does not have any movement at the end. هذا, هذه. If you remember, I added here, some noun has fixed ending and does not change. So هذا is one of them that we do not change based if it's marfu or majroor or mansub. So هذا will stay as it is. كتاب only has the dhamma at the end because it's a khabar. It's the second part of the sentence. So we have a complete sentence now. Mubtada, which is the first word. Khabar is the second word. Al-waladu jalisun. The boy is sitting. Al-rajulu waqifun. The man is standing. As you can see here, all the first words are mubtada, marfu'a, dhamma. So it's a nominative with dhamma. Ma'rifa, which is it's a definite. It's a definite word. And the second word is called khabar, and also marfu'a with dhamma. It's a nominative. It's a dhamma at the end, and it's an indefinite thing. الكتاب جديد. القلم قديم. الكرسي مكسور. Yeah. Is there any questions so far? We are going to go through more, but just for now, we have something called the noun sentence, al-jumlatul ismiyya, and it has two parts, mubtada and khabar. Both of them are marfu'. If it's one word, it's marfu', and it has, which means it has a dhamma at the end. Or if it's something like that, it does not change. Uh, the ending does not change, then it's going to be the same. But we know that this is mubtada. We go to another topic, the preposition. So here we told information that if we have a preposition, the word after it will be majrur, will have kasra. So let's go into some prepositions that we have. The preposition here is a particle. A preposition is a particle, which means this is in the third category of the Arabic words. It does not stand alone. It does not have a meaning stand alone. It has to have something coming after to have a meaning. Um, Also, very important information, the ending of all the particles does not change. So there is no i'rab for the ending of the particles, huruf. The ending does not change. So the preposition we're going to say right now, wherever it's the position of the preposition in the sentence will stay the same. The ending of the preposition will stay the same. Now, this information, this is a repeated one. When the preposition comes before a noun, it changes the noun case from marfu' to genitive, which is majroor, usually with kasra at the end. This is an example. So if I have the word al-maktabu, the desk, and I use the preposition ala, which is on, al-maktabu, it cannot be ala al-maktabu. It cannot be ala al-maktabu. It should be ala al-maktabi. على المكتب. So if you can see here, the المكتب, the same noun, but it came after a preposition. Now it has a كسرة. المكتب became على المكتب. Or if it's indefinite, مكتب will be على مكتب. On a desk. This is an indefinite thing. Also, the final ending changed just because it became after a preposition. So what are these prepositions that we need to know this lecture? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the book, we only have 5 of these, I think. Only 2 of them are used in the examples, and the 3 of them are just in a note. But it's good that you know them all. If you see them in a sentence, this is the meaning. The prepositions are here. This is the meaning. This is some examples. And you have to remember the prepositions here, the ending will not change. So it's not like the noun that go dhamma, kasra, or fatha. No, it will, because it's a particle, it's not a noun, it will have the same ending. So this is min, from, ila, to, an, about, ala. So this is, we call it a this here is called al-alif al-layyina. It's an alif, but we write it like this. If you notice, this one does not have 2 points underneath it. If it has 2 points, it will be ali. But because it doesn't have 2 points underneath it, then it will be alif ala. This, I think, you should know this information if you know reading the Quran. And in the Quran, you'll always have one here. It's just an alif here that reminds you that this is an alif, not a ya. So this is ala. But here it's fi. Why? Because we have 2 points here. So it will be fi. Min, ila, an, ala, fi, and the lam, this one letter. And when one letter this one letter we have it before any noun, it gives it a different meaning, and the noun is becoming majroor, which has kasra. Once we have this lam, and it means belongs to. Like if I say lil bint, if I said al bint, it's the girl. Lil bint, that means belongs to the girl. If you have this lam, and you can see the bint will have, al bint will have a kasra at the end. Lil binti, because of this lam. So lam kasra can be a preposition. Ba kasra also a preposition. Bil babi, which means at the door. Someone at the door. Bil babi. Bil babi. So this is the preposition. And also you can see here al bab became maksura, or here we have a kasra at the end because of this preposition. Is so far it's understandable what we are trying to do. We discussed the noun sentence. It has two parts. Both of them are marfu'a with dhamma. Now we discuss some prepositions and what does the preposition do to a noun when it came before it. Like here, al-maktabu became al-maktabi, maktabun maktabin, وهكذا. More examples will come inshallah. This is more example about the preposition. This is a complete sentence now. القلم على المكتب. القلم على المكتب. If you know what's القلم mean, القلم means a pen. We had it in the previous lecture. على المكتب means على means on. المكتب the desk. القلم على المكتب. This is a complete sentence now. القلم is مبتدا. It's the first word of the sentence. And it has ضمة because of مبتدأ. Now على المكتب, this all is what we call it in the previous slide, the خبر, the predicate, but it has a preposition. So that's why here it's مكسور. القلم على المكتب. القلم على المكتب. This is a complete noun sentence now. المدرس في المسجد. المدرس means the teacher, and masjid we know the mosque. في means in. المدرس في المسجد. The teacher is in the mosque. المدرس في المسجد.
Can you explain, please, more about the boy and
Holland.
can you pronounce it anil walad or an walad?
عن
An.
الولد. نعم.
So
عن
it's
الولد.
kasra, not hamza here. And normally an, but anil walad. It
You,
changes.
you mean here the change here?
Yeah.
The change here is because of the next word. It does not have anything with the preposition itself.
Hmm.
So that
I see.
change here does not mean that this one has a different meaning now. It's just because we have a thing after it. This is a standalone one.
Uh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not nothing about preposition, just only
Yes.
about
Yeah. Yeah.
starting of the noun.
Yes. Yes.
Verb.
So here there is no such rule that we have to put kasra.
Okay,
But
but
if you, I will, yeah. To answer this one, I may take you back to the tajweed lesson that we had last year. We said one information that Arab people did not like when two stable words come after each other.
I see.
Two stable letters, sorry, two stable letters. So if you say al walad, so the first one is this the alif will not be pronounced because you have something before, so it will be anil, an
I see.
il. So if you stopped at an because of sakin and you go il is another sakin, then it will be difficult to pronounce. So what they did, it's called the rule is called التقاء الساكنين. So if two stable letters meet each other, then you have to do something. If you look at the first example, min Hollanda, from the Netherlands, min said it the same because Hollanda is a moving letter. But here you have two stable letters. That's why an became anil waladi. Anil waladi. Yeah. So this is the only reason. No, alif, this is called um, hamzat wasl. So it's not there is not a stable letter. Lam is the stable letter. This hamza we don't pronounce. So if we start with it, it will be al walad. But if you have wow here, it will be wal walad. You go from wow to lam. And anil is the same thing. You go from noon to lam because this is called hamzat wasl. We don't start, we don't stop at it. Same here with ilal masjidi. Ilal. إلى المسجد. This is alif here. This is alif layina, right? So this is alif. And go to lam. إلى المسجد. We don't pronounce this one. And also here. So this lam is stable. And this noun is stable. So if you try to say it عن, if you stop, you have to say الولد. And this is hamzat wasl. So you should go from noon to lam. That's why this become kasra. This is the only reason this changed. But it does not mean that these should change based on the meaning. So the preposition it's the same thing, it's the same meaning. Only when this, yeah, this is an advanced thing in Tajweed and also in the Arabic language that if you have two stable, you just get rid of one of them. So that's why this sukun became kasra. Good question, brother. So any other questions? We need to go for,
Yeah, just
yeah.
why did it become? Why didn't it change for Holanda? Min Holanda? I mean, maybe I missed it.
Min Hulanda, yeah. Min Holanda. Ha here is a moving letter. It's not stable. So there is no meaning of two stable letters.
Sorry, I mean, at the end of Holanda, is it because it's the name of the country? Or?
Yeah, Holanda is the name of the country. There is nothing here. You cannot do anything here. This is the name. We call it alam. This is something that stand alone. You
Okay.
don't do anything. So min Holanda. Ah, you mean why there is no kasra here?
Yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand because this is not something to change. It's called Hulanda. It's going to stay like this. In Arabic, it's called an ismun a'jami. It's coming from abroad. It's not in the language. It's just a different name from another language. So you use it as it is. So min Hulanda. So if you look at this one, this you should say this noun is coming after a preposition. This noun is genitive, which is majroor. But this kasra, we call it's a metaphorical. So we say it's kasra um, is not, we cannot see it, but there is a kasra here. This name is majroor, right? There is a kasra, but we don't put it. In Arabic, if you're like solving an exam in Arabic language, you say kasra muqaddara, which means something we consider that the kasra here, but it's not there. It's called kasra muqaddara. Yeah, but it's a genitive noun now because it's coming after a preposition. Min Holanda, like here, ila al masjidi. But because this is a noun, there is a kasra. بالباب للبنت في البيت and so on. Any other questions? This is just an information. I don't want to confuse you, but if you look at this sentence and this sentence, we have two parts: مبتدأ, as we talked before, مبتدأ with ضمة, and خبر. But now the khabar has a preposition. The whole thing, this is a complete thing, is considered khabar. This is called a phrase. The direct translation to this one in Arabic is called the shibh jumla, which is pseudo sentence. It's like a sentence but not complete because it has a preposition and has a noun. So this is called a pseudo sentence, shibh jumla, or just a semi sentence. Um, and it here the whole thing is considered the predicate. The whole thing is considered the khabar. That's why it's a complete noun sentence now. القلم على المكتب. المدرس في المسجد. The teacher is in the mosque or the pen is on the desk. Now about these two verbs, we are going to put all this information inshallah together in one example in a couple of minutes. In this lesson, there's only two verbs. These are the first verbs that we have in the lectures, which is verb kharaja and dhahaba. As you know, in any language, the verb takes different shape when it was put in a different time. For these, this is the past of these verbs, dhahaba and kharaja. Dhahaba means went, which is the past form of the verb go. And kharaja means went out, like he went out of the room. Dhahaba means he went somewhere. So here what I said, the verb dhahaba means went, which is the past for the verb go, which is in Arabic يذهب or idhab. This is the present part, but we will not use this one. We will only use the past one in this lecture. The verb kharaja, also the same thing. The only difference between these, that dhahaba means went somewhere, kharaja just went out of the room, went out of the house, went out of something. And it's the past of the verb go out, which is in Arabic yakhruj. So this is the present form. You don't have to care about this. But these are the verbs that we are going to use. ذهب and خرج. Example. أين أحمد. أين means where in Arabic. We're going to come to this inshallah in the next slide. أين أحمد. Where is أحمد? أين أحمد. Where is أحمد? So we say ذهب أحمد. Sorry, أنا آسف. Sorry. أين أحمد؟ ذهب أحمد إلى المسجد. Now, this is not a noun sentence, right? Now, this is not a noun sentence. But bear with me. أين أحمد؟ أين أحمد? Where is Ahmad? ذهب أحمد إلى المسجد. So once we have a verb, we can start the sentence with it. ذهب أحمد إلى المسجد, which means Ahmad went to the mosque. Or I can say ذهب إلى المسجد. I do not need to mention the name. أين أحمد? I say ذهب إلى المسجد. He went to the mosque. Yeah. Um, it should be, I think Ahmad. Oh, let's make it Muhammad. Let's make it Muhammad because Ahmad has a different. Sorry, let's make it Muhammad. Um, make it Muhammad. I had to change Ahmad because any verb that is the same as af'al should not have tanween. This is another case, but it's not another our lesson today. So let's make it Muhammad. I could not pronounce ذهب Ahmadun. It's not good. Muhammad. So Muhammadun will have tanween. Okay. Let's forget. Yeah, this is another rule. I should not use Ahmad here. So أين محمد؟ ذهب محمد إلى المسجد. Or ذهب إلى المسجد. And if you remember the letter that we have last time, if we have this letter, it will make it a question. أذهب محمد إلى البيت؟ أذهب محمد إلى البيت? Did he go home? Did Muhammad go home? Let's make it Muhammad. Yeah. So this is just an example to use this ذهب and خرج. أين محمد؟ ذهب إلى المسجد. He went to the mosque. And as you can see, we are using here this preposition ila, which is to, as we discussed. And you can see the noun after the prepositions becoming majroor, genitive, which is has kasra at the end. ذهب محمد إلى البيت. Now there is a note here that we got rid of the noun here if it's a subject, so you can get rid of it. So the he here can get. If you look at the translation, Muhammad went to the mosque. Then we mention Muhammad. If it's a he went to a mosque. We just get rid of him. ذهب إلى المسجد, and we know that's about Muhammad because it's in the question. أين محمد؟ ذهب إلى المسجد. He went to the mosque. In English, you have to mention he, but in Arabic, you can just get rid of it because there is a verb here. ذهب إلى المسجid will do the job. Another example. أين عباس؟ عباس is another name. أين عباس? You can say خرج. That's it. خرج. He went out. And you can see from this note that when you have a verb, you can get rid of he. إلى أين ذهب? أين means where. إلى means to. إلى أين ذهب? Where to? Where did he go? أين عباس? Where is Abbas? خرج, he went out. إلى أين ذهب? Where did he go? ذهب إلى المدير. He went to the boss. He went to the boss. He went to the boss. المدير is a boss. Do you see how we use these two verbs now? أين محمد؟ أين أنا؟ أين أنا؟ أنا means I. Where am I? أين أنا؟ أنا في البيت. I am in the house. I am in the house. أنا في البيت. Yeah. أين محمد؟ ذهب محمد إلى المسجد. He went to the mosque. Next slide is all about examples. We are going to put, inshallah, everything together. Bear with me with the examples, and hopefully you're going to digest what I said so far. I know it's too much. أين الولد? Where is the boy? You remember what that we had last time? It was ما. Now, it also had another word, which is ماذا. What can also be ماذا. ما or ماذا. You can use both. So in this lesson, we're going to use ماذا, inshallah. So أين الولد? We discussed أين means where. So الولد means boy. Where is the boy? الولد is a singular masculine word, so you can replace it with a pronoun هو, as we discussed at the beginning of the lesson. هو في المسجد. في is a preposition. المسجد is a genitive name with a kasra at the end because it came after a position. He is in the mosque. You can say الولد في المسجد instead of هو, but it's better to use the pronoun هو في المسجد. هو في المسجد. Is it clear that why this sentence is written this way? هو في المسجد. So هو, because الولد, and الولد is a singular masculine noun, that's why we use the pronoun هو. في المسجد is just preposition and the genitive word after a preposition. هو في المسجد. He is in the mosque. We don't have is in Arabic, so that's why we don't have anything here. هو في المسجد. أين الكتاب? هو also singular masculine. هو على المكتب. He's on the desk. أين الساعة? Where's the watch? الساعة, I think is the new word. هي على السرير. And السرير became الكسرة because there is على before. And على is on. It is on the bed. ماذا, which is what. ماذا على المكتب? What is on the desk? ماذا على المكتب? What is on the desk? The answer is الكتاب على المكتب. This is a nominal sentence, right? الكتاب, the book, is on the desk. على المكتب. Why الكتاب has ضمة? Because this is the مبتدأ, which is the first word of a sentence. Oh, that brings me to هو. Why هو it still has فتحة? Because it's not changing. So الكتاب can have different ending. هو, هي, all the pronouns that we have is one of the things that it does not change. هو will be هو if it's after a preposition or if it's anywhere. It will still be هو with a fatha at the end. It's still a mubtada, it's still at the beginning of a noun sentence, but it will not going to change. Al-kitabu, on the other hand, is not a pronoun, so it's going to change. It can be al-kitabi, al-kitaba, or al-kitabu, based on the position. Now, because it's a mubtada at the beginning of a noun sentence, it takes dhamma. Al-maktabi takes kasra because it's after a preposition. I hope this is clear. If this information is clear, then this lesson is successful so far. أين أحمد؟ ذهب إلى المطبخ. المطبخ means the kitchen. We discussed this example before. أين آمنة? And you can see the difference between أحمد and آمنة. So أحمد has tanween and آمنة not, because we discussed this also. That is a feminine and masculine noun. هي في الفصل, and الفصل mean the classroom. هي, we used هي here because it's a feminine singular. So we have the pronoun هي, like هو. in the other in the masculine words. Man anta. Probably this is really very common. Man anta. Who are you? Who can help me answer this? Man anta. عمر. Yeah. أنا عمر. No. من أين أحمد. من means from. أين means where. From where. من أين أحمد. من أين أحمد. من أين أحمد. Where is Ahmed from? هو, because it's Ahmed, it's a masculine thing. هو من الهند. الهند means India. من الهند. And الهند has كسرة because of preposition. Now we remember Hulanda, stated Hulanda because it's an Ajami. We don't have this word in Arabic. Al-Hind, on another hand, is an Arabic word, Al-Hindi. That's why it became maksur here. It has kasra at the end. Ahmadu min Turkiya, we said that we have alif at the beginning. It became a question. Is he from Turkey? Turkiya? No, he is from India. Can someone help me answer? Ahmadu min Turkiya?
Mm,
هو من الهندي. Someone else who wants to join? So لا, because it's a no. هو من الهندي, the same word here. He is from India. Now, this is also a very important thing to notice. من من المغرب. Man here means who. Man. As you remember, min is different than man. So mim with kasrah means from, like here. Min aina, min, right? Man, on the other hand, with the mim fatha means who. So this is really, really important. Man is a question noun. This is a preposition, min. And you can see min became fatha just because al-maghrib here. This is not this is not the point. The point is there's a different meaning just because this meme has fatha and this meme has kasra. Man min al-maghrib. Who is from Morocco? Who is here? Man from is this preposition min, and al-maghrib is a noun that's it's a genitive with kasra because there is a preposition before it. Man min al-maghribi. The answer is Khadija. Khadijatu min al-maghribi. Khadijatu min al-maghribi. Also, there is Ahmad here with Dhamma. I prefer to make it Muhammad for now. I am sorry. Probably later. Let's go forward. I will make it Muhammad because Ahmad does not has to have tanween. Tanween. Summary, very quick. I know we are over time. The detached pronouns, الضمائر المنفصلة, I, he, she, it, they, we, everything, and the difference between dual and singular and plural. Masculine and feminine names, some has tanween and some does not have. Um, noun cases, الإعراب, if it's nominative مرفوع ومنصوب with nominative مرفوع والضمة, منصوب with فتحة, genitive or مجرور with كسرة. The noun sentence, the first type of the sentence in Arabic, الجملة الإسمية. The preposition and the genitive nouns, which is حروف الجر, like من, إلى, عن, على, في, باء, or lam. The nouns, they are in the table. Where, who, and what. أين, ومن, وماذا. This is the big difference between man with mim, fatha, and the min, which is a preposition. Went out and went, خرج and ذهب. In this lesson in the book, is also only discussing these two verbs and how to use them. The new vocabulary here, you can see I added the prepositions here, so please go over them, really important. These are the new words in this lesson, and also these are some adjectives. فقير, فقير, قصير, ساخن, واقف, قديم, بعيد, وسخ, كبير, ثقيل. Can someone help me read those very quick?
المدير، الحمام، المطبخ مطبخ الفصل أين غني طويل
طويل.
بارد
Yeah.
بارد خالص
جا.
جديد
No.
قريب
جالس.
جالس
Yeah.
جديد قريب نظيف
Yeah.
صغير خفيف.
صغير. Yeah. خفيف. بارك الله فيك. The homework, I hope I hope you do the homework. It's really, really beneficial because it recaps all the information that we said. So here I have questions that I did in the example, and please come up with any proper answer that you can do, but just make it correctly. أين محمد؟ أين آمنة؟ أين آمنة؟ Sorry. أين الساعة؟ أياسر في المطبخ؟ أذهب علي إلى البيت؟ The other part of the homework is just about the names. So we have names here, masculine and feminine. Just put dhamma or tanween dhamma at the end, based on the masculine and feminine name, like Fatima, Maryam, Aisha. They are all feminine. Muhammad and Ammar and Ali. They are all masculine. Here are some preposition. من إلى في على. Sorry, there is no تشكيل in the book. I just take some screenshots from the book. There is no تشكيل here, but these are 4 prepositions. من إلى في على. And these are some sentences. You can use translate Google if you don't know some words here, but most of them that we already have. And please use the preposition correctly here. If it's a min, ila, fi, ala, based on the meaning of these prepositions. And I think that's it for today. Sorry for being over time. Assalamu alaikum.
السلام عليكم.